I want to see Russ.
Well, everyone, welcome. Welcome to you all. It is wonderful to see so many of you out here tonight. We'll continue to make room if folks keep coming in, and hopefully you'll be willing to fit others as they come in and perhaps need a seat. Also, a really warm welcome to those of you who are joining us online this evening. For those of you I haven't met before, joining us for the first time, my name is Sandra. I'm the coordinating minister here at Trinity-Grace United Church. And we are so delighted and excited this evening to have the incomparable Miles Black and the Miles Black Trio here with us. You may need to clap again, so I'm just going to ask one of the trio here if they would like to maybe introduce the band. Yeah?
Sure.
Okay.
This is Dave Robbins on the drums. Russ Botten on the bass.
Yeah.
Miles. You know Miles. Many of us. Well, it's officially spring. Thank God. It's spring, and it's felt like spring. It maybe not so much today, but it has been feeling like spring, and we're thankful for that. In church time, as we like to call it, we're in the lead up to Easter. We're coming up to the week where we remember the story of the last week of Christ's life, as recounted in the New Testament, and that includes the Last Supper, Jesus' arrest, trial, crucifixion. But tonight we're going to be listening to Oscar Peterson's Easter Suite. And we're going to be hearing this story in both word and music tonight. For the narrative story, we're going to try something a little bit different. Quite recently, a new translation and paraphrase of the New Testament came out. It's a First Nations version. And for those of you who may be really familiar with the story of Holy Week, this may be an opportunity to hear it afresh with words that are maybe less familiar and open us up, as well as, of course, listening to a musical interpretation, which in itself will open us up to proclaiming the story in a new way as well. In that spirit and in the spirit of reconciliation, I want to begin by acknowledging that we are gathering this evening on the traditional unceded and unsurrendered territories of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. We offer our gratitude for the caretaking of the land that has been the purview of these nations for so many generations. And we offer our commitment to the work of reconciliation and right relations. Quickly, before we move into our service, a couple of things I would like you to know in order to help us all enjoy our time this evening. There's a washroom at the back of the church here on the right-hand side. If it's busy, you can go down the stairs and turn right. There are two more at the bottom of the stairs. And if you could just check any devices you have with you and make sure they're on silent, or that would be appreciated. So we've been framing each of our Vespers, our monthly Vespers sessions, with a jazz and spirituality quote. So you might not be surprised to know tonight that I'm going to offer you a quote by Oscar Peterson. One of the world's greatest jazz pianists, Oscar Peterson, many of you may already know this, rose from humble beginnings in a Montreal immigrant neighborhood to become a central player in the jazz genre through hard work, natural skill, and an irrepressible spirit. He was recognized as a formidable talent at an early age, and Peterson's impact went beyond his dynamic work, the keyboard. He was a racially integrative force through the composition of his renowned jazz trios, and one of Canada's most beloved public figures. So here's the quote by Oscar Peterson. You have to love the people you are playing with. And if you have any racial inhibitions, you wouldn't be able to do that. I thought it was a timely quote for tonight. Just yesterday, we were marking the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. And I feel it's a wonderful and powerful affirmation also of why love is the way forward. That is essentially our message. And music and music making is a powerful way to foster the kind of love that breaks down barriers. So the story we'll be hearing tonight in word and in music, the story is many things, but ultimately it is as we invite the Spirit of life to be with us now. Peterson also said that he didn't believe we needed any cerebral introductions to jazz music before it was played. So we're just going to move right into the story and right into the music. So this is a reading from the Gospel of Luke. When it was time for the ceremonial meal to begin, Creator sets free, Jesus that is, and his 12 message bearers sat down around a table. Creator sets free looked into the faces of his followers. How I have longed to sit and eat this Passover meal, he said. One, they all drank from it. Creator sets free said to them, listen to me closely. I will not drink from the fruit. And gave thanks. He gave some to each of his followers. And do this to remember me. In the same way, after the meal was over, he took a cup of wine. He gave it to his followers and said, this cup of wine is for the new peace treaty for you. But look and see, he said to the surprise of all, the one who has turned against me is sitting at this very table. The true human being will walk the path that has been chosen for him, but it will not go well for the one who betrays me. Around at one another, asking who among them would do such a thing. Creator sets free, that followers came to the place where the olives are crushed, Gethsemane. Honored Father, he cried out, nothing is too hard for you. Take this bitter cup of suffering away from me. He then returned and found his followers sleeping. One who hears, that is Simon. He said to stands on the rock Peter, using his family name, are you asleep? Could you not stay awake with me for even 1 hour? Stay awake and pray so that you will be able to face the fiery trial ahead of you. The human body is weak, but the spirit is strong. Heavy, and they had no answer for him. After praying again, he returned a third time and woke them up from their sleep. Do you still sleep? Have you rested enough? He said to them. Wake up, the time is upon us. The true human being has been betrayed into the hands of the ones with bad hearts. Rise up, we must go. Look, the one who has turned against me is here. fiery trial begins. While Creator sets free, that is Jesus, was speaking, suddenly a crowd stormed in, led by speaks well of, that is Judas, one of the 12. He walked up to Creator sets free to greet him. Will you betray the true human being with a kiss? He said to him. The lodge soldiers grabbed hold of him, dragged him away, and took him to the house of the chief holy man. The fire in the courtyard and sat down to warm themselves. Stands on the rock, sat down with them. This man was with Creator. He denied, I do not know the man. A short time later, someone else noticed him and said, you are one of his followers. I am not, he argued back. About and accused him. He must be one of his followers, for he is also from Circle of Nations, Galilee. Before he could get the words out of his mouth, a rooster crowed. Then Creator sets free turned and looked at him from a distance. He had been told earlier, times that you know me. Then stands on the rock, ran out of the gate. As he stumbled down the road. Right then, while Creator Sets Free was speaking, a crowd of people stormed into the garden. Speaks well of, that is Judas. One of the 12 was leading the way, along with the large crowd, sent from the head holy men of the tribal council, carrying clubs and long knives. The air was filled with the smell of burning torches as the crowd pushed their way forward. The betrayer had given them a sign. Take hold of the one I greet with a kiss and arrest him. Speaks well of, that is Judas, walked right to Creator Sets Free. Greetings, wisdom keeper, he said, and then kissed him. My friend, Creator Sets Free, said to his face, do you what you came to do? The crowd moved in and took hold of Creator Sets Free to arrest him. But then one of his followers drew his long knife from its sheath and cut off the ear of the servant of the chief holy man. Put away your long knife, he said to his follower, for all who take up weapons will also die by them. Do you not know that if I called out to my Father, he would send to me many thousands of spirit messengers? But if I did, how would the ancient prophecies that foretold this find their full meaning? Creator Sets Free then turned to the ones who had come to take him and said, why do you come at me with clubs and knives as if I were a thief? Did I not sit with you every day in the sacred lodge? Why did you not take me then? But now the words of the prophets have come true and found their full meaning. After hearing him say this, all of his followers turned and ran away. As the sun began to rise, the head holy men counseled together with the tribal elders, the scroll keepers, and the grand council. Then with ropes they bound Creator Sets Free once again and took him to Spear of the Great Waters. That is Pilate. Spear of the Great Waters was the local governor representing the people of iron, the Romans. He had the power to decide who would live and who would die. Are you the chief of the tribes of wrestles with Creator of Israel? He asked Creator Sets Free. You have said it, he answered, as the head holy men kept accusing him. Why are you silent? Spear of the Great Waters said to him. Do you not hear all their accusations? But to the amazement of the governor, Creator Sets Free answered not one word. Now it was a tradition during the Passover festival to release to the crowd one criminal, whomever they wanted. At that time they were holding a man in prison, a killer who had been part of an uprising against the people of iron, whose name was son of his father, Barabbas. So the crowd began to ask Spear of the Great Waters to release a prisoner. The governor raised his voice and asked the crowd, should I release to you the chief of your tribal nation? He said this because he knew the head holy men and elders had handed over Creator Sets Free, because they were jealous of his reputation with the people. But the head holy men and the elders stirred the crowd into asking for son of his father, Barabbas, to be released instead. What then would you have me do with the one you call chief of your tribal nation? He asked them again. Nail him to the cross, they shouted with one voice. Why, what wrong has he done to deserve this? He said back to them. But they only shouted louder and stronger. Nail him to the cross. The soldiers took Creator Sets Free away into the great hall of the governor's lodge, and all the soldiers gathered around him. They wrapped a purple chief blanket around him and twisted together a headdress from a thorn bush and pressed it onto his head. Honor, honor to the chief of the tribes of Wrestles with Creator. Round in front of him. Then they spit on him and beat his head over and over again with a wooden staff. When they were finished putting on their big show, At the 6th hour of the day, clouds moved in and covered the land with darkness until the 9th hour. That is when Creator sets free, speaking in his native language, cried out loud, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, which means, "O great Spirit." Some of the people standing there heard him and said, "On the prophet, great Spirit is Creator, Elijah, to help him." One of them ran and soaked a cloth with the bitter, put it on a staff, and put it to his mouth. But the others said, "Wait, let us see whether great Spirit is Creator, that is Elijah, will come and save him." But right then, Creator sets free with his dying breath, lifted his voice one last time, and with a loud cry, gave up his spirit. preparation for his burial. A man named He Gets More, Joseph, sat on the Grand Council of Elders, but had not agreed with the decision to put Creator's to death. He was a good-hearted and upright man from the tribal village of High Mountain, Arimathea, one who looked for Creator's good road. He went to the spear of the great waters, Pilate, and asked for the body. He then took it down from the cross and ceremonially wrapped his body with soft cloth. Then he laid the body in a newly carved burial cave that had never been used. It was still the day of preparation for the Passover, and the day of resting would soon begin. After the women who had walked the road with him from the Circle of Nations, from Galilee, saw where they put his body, they left and went to prepare herbal spices and sweet-smelling ointments. Then they settled into their homes and followed the instructions for the day of resting. I don't know how to follow that. I'm seriously tempted, after hearing that, to never preach resurrection again. Just play that movement. Wow. No. We do have one more reading. It's titled A New Sunrise for a New World. Then on the first day of the week following the day of rest, as the sun began to rise, strong tears, Mary, of the village of Creator's High Lodge, Magdala, and brooding tears, Mary, went to see the burial cave. Suddenly the earth began to shake, and a spirit messenger from the spirit world above came down from the sky, walked to the burial cave, rolled the stone away, and sat down on it. He was shining as bright as a flash of lightning, and his regalia was pure white, like freshly fallen snow. The soldier staggered back, trembling with fear, and fell to the ground like dead men. Do not fear, the spirit messenger said to the women. The one you are looking for is not here. Creator sets free, who was killed on the cross, has come back to life again. And just as he said, look, that is where they laid him. Now hurry and go tell his followers that he has risen from the dead. Tell them he is going ahead of them to the circle of nations in Galilee, and they will see what I told you. The women ran from the burial cave to bring the good news to all the followers. Their hearts were trembling with joy. Suddenly, Creator Sets Free was standing in front of them. It is a good morning, he smiled and said to them. They came close, held tightly to his feet, and gave great honor. Do not fear, he told them. Go and tell my brothers to go to Circle of Nations, and there they will see me. This is the witness of our ancestors in faith. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. This is by Oscar Peterson. It's his most famous composition. It's called Hymn to Freedom.
They like you. They really like you. Some of you know we've been building our Vespers ministry here at Trinity-Grace, and in doing so in collaboration with Brentwood Presbyterian and Reverend Dr. Brian Fraser, who's been mentoring us on how to do this, including connecting us with fabulous musicians like Malfac Trio. So just want to extend a thank you again to you, Brian, and to Brentwood for all of your help with this. Thank you to those of you who've been online, put it together, and feel the Spirit moving amongst us in this time together. We're really hoping we can continue to offer this Vespers in this area of the city. I think it's really the only one in East Vancouver. And so we thank you also for the donations that you brought tonight. It helps, most of the proceeds will go to the musicians and help us to continue to offer this kind of experience here in our little area of the city. April 19th, we will have Footnotes here with us. So we hope that you'll be able to join us for that too. Friends, I feel like Oscar Peterson lived and breathed and was just steeped in the story we heard tonight. And he knew as well as anyone, I imagine, that love is the most powerful force in the world. He knew that, and I pray that we may go from this place trusting in that as well. Blessings, peace, and safe travels home. Till we see you again. Amen. Amen.